Parental discretion is advised.
On this week of the Wrestling Mayhem Show, we talk to Veteran Ebert, co-writer for Mad Dogs, Midgets, and Screwjobs. We talk indie wrestling news, we have some bad accents, we talk about small memorable moments in wrestling, faces being dicks, and dicks on faces. All this and more, Wrestling Mayhem Show.
Just wait, just wait, just wait, just wait. Wait for the perfect time, then attack. Don't give up what you want, take it back. Wait for the perfect time.
Hey guys, it's the Wrestling Mayhem Show. It's episode 368. We're ready to get mayhemy. We're ready to get wrestling with you. Wait, that sounds a little dirty. But we're going to have a nice, clean conversation with our guest tonight. One of the co-authors of Mad Dogs, Midgets, and Screwjobs. I think everybody on this show has an interest in at least one of those three things. Coming straight at us from the French Quarter of Canada. French Quarter, is that right? Wait, is it a French Quarter? Or am I thinking New Orleans?
They're called provinces.
Oh. Why now they're called provinces? I took French. I took some French. Anyways, so... this is the Wrestling Mayhem Show where we talk wrestling, we like to fan it up, we like to kick back and enjoy wrestling as it should be. We try so hard not to get smart marky with you. We try so hard not to tell you how it is, but we like to just talk about wrestling, have fun. Just some good friends talking about wrestling. And one of my good friends has come back to the show. Chachi, at Chachi Says on Twitter, is back.
I'm back, bitches! And I listened to the show while I was gone, and I have some comments.
Okay.
Riz?
Yes?
You did a good job.
Thank you.
Bobby? You did a good job. Sorg?
I did a good job.
You did a wonderful job as always, sir.
Oh, thank you. Good.
And Lunchbox isn't here, but he also did a great job.
Okay.
And all the fans that email and voicemailed in, PPC and AJ, all on form.
How about the guys in the chat?
Russell fan?
Who are the guys in the
Fuck
chat?
you! You are the downfall of the show.
I missed you so much, Chachi.
I know. I'm sorry. I couldn't help it. I was gonna
This
send.
show,
I was gonna send.
You know what? I went through the weeks and I was like, I'm missing something. And I couldn't put my finger on it.
The thing is, if you think
I
about
miss
it.
being degraded.
Okay, first off, I was gonna say that all on Twitter, but that was much longer than 140 characters.
No, that wouldn't fit.
So it wouldn't have fit. But if you actually go back and look at my Twitter feed interacting with you, you will notice that even on Twitter, I was nicer to you.
And then you. Let's be fair.
So I mean, me not being on the show actually helped improve your overall quality of life.
It kind of did. I don't want to be that guy, but it kind of did.
So yeah, too bad that's over.
Yeah.
Yeah, wrestle fan from San Antonio, Texas. Bobby F. J. Town from Johnstown. Join us by Google Hangout as you
I'm
can
in a
see
glass.
the corner.
I'm in a hangout of emotions.
Yes, Skype is still giving us issues. And of course, the Riz from out east and here in Pittsburgh.
Hi, Sorg.
Hi, and of course I'm here.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Except for hi, everybody else.
Of course, this is your Wrestling Mayhem Show. You can drop us a line. Hey, we're at WrestlingMayhemShow.com, so you can get all your mayhemming on, all the links and everything to all the stuff I'm about to talk about, like the iTunes, Stitcher, Spreaker, Blip TV, Roku, and YouTube ways you can watch or listen to us. You can also drop us a line at that email address.
Good times.
Good times.
That's good times at WrestlingMayhemShow.com, 412-206-WMS0, or drop a line. Oh, hey, buy the app. Buy the app. Buy the app. WMS Gold, Wrestling Mayhem Show Gold on your Amazon app stores and your iTunes, iOS app store as well, for every size of device you may have. There it is. Quick links plus bonus footage of us talking about things that may or may not be wrestling. No improv tonight. No improv. WrestleFan. You need to do an improv with Bobby.
Lunchbox isn't here.
But I think we should carry it on. I think, Bobby, maybe you should do an improv with him on break.
I can do an improv.
Okay,
I
we'll do
can
that. We'll
do
do
that.
that on break there after we do the minute. Anyways, but yeah, hey, let's talk wrestling the only way we know how. Let's start with the fan mail, of which I believe we have a good deal tonight.
We do.
So
You want
let's
to start Latin?
Let's start Latin. We're gonna go up north later. Let's go down south for the Latin heat, sir.
Yeah,
That's not a
Sword wants to
metaphor
go
for-
down south.
It's not a metaphor for anything.
Nothing.
Hola, amigo.
Hola.
By the way, I
Way.
just took
Oh,
my
sorry.
Spanish final about a couple days ago, so let's see how this goes.
You failed miserably.
Es mi, es el Gran Azul. Yo tengo una historia para ti. Lucha amigos, Mayhem.
Whoa, there's some fluency in there. You practice.
I don't know where that came from. Tengo un perro llamado Pedro, que ha estado sintiendo muy deprima últimamente.
Oh.
Yeah, I started too hot. ¿Conoces la historia de fiel amigo? Fue casi en ese punto. Estaba preocupado de que podría necesitar para ponerlo abajo. Pero el veterinario sugirió conseguir algo que está interesado por... That's gotta be a typo. Resulta que es un fanático de la lucha. También, así que le compré un collar Randy Orton. Se combina con placas de identificaciones. Ahora, en lugar de tener que poner al perro a dormir, el perro me pone a dormir. ¡Ole!
Hey!
Wait, WrestleFan. I want you to say identification again in Spanish.
Identificaciones.
That's right.
There's
That's
no
right.
sign of
He's
it.
really making these, like, these are legit run-on
Here-
sentences,
here-
so it's really making it difficult.
I would like to read the translate.
Go ahead, read the translate.
Hello, friends. It's me. It's me. It's El Gran Azul.
Put some fucking oomph in it, Jesus.
Shut up! I have a story for you, Wrestling Mayhem friends. I have a dog named Pedro, who's been feeling really depressed lately.
What the hell?
You know the story of Old Yeller? He was nearly at that point. I was worried I might need to put him down.
Why did you read this happy? WrestleFan?
But the veterinarian suggested getting something he's interested in. It turns out he's a wrestling fan too. So I bought him a Randy Orton collar with matching dog tags. Now, instead of having to put the dog to sleep, the dog puts me to sleep. Ole.
Ole!
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Great job,
heavy.
WrestleFan.
You
That's
only-
fucking heavy.
You only know one gear when it comes to speaking Spanish, don't you?
Have you ever seen a solemn Spanish person?
Yes. Plenty of times.
Only when they're taking a siesta.
They
Oh.
don't talk when they're. I give up.
Let's break this up with just a random voicemail from DJ Lunchbox. We can do that now.
Because it's important. It sets up to
No.
something.
Hey guys, I got a new soundboard, so hopefully we'll be able to like do these every week now. Oh, wow, this is a quick one. Holy shit. And if my computer cooperates, here we go. From LB, who is of course missing. Maybe.
Bo fucking diggity. It's not Bo fucking diggity.
Swerve!
Ah.
Who is he, Vince
Turns out
Russo?
DJ
Oh my
Lunchbox
god.
needed a fucking voicemail for the Wrestling Mayhem show.
It's like when Hogan turned on Macho.
And guys,
Man.
I said everything important that I needed to say in my email. I talked about the moment, rest in peace.
We should have read the email first.
Thought-provoking
Well, no,
questions,
because hold on.
and we'll get to that. But I want to lay down some quick ground rules. Riz is
Yeah.
the surrogate lunchbox for the evening.
What?
Riz has duties to perform. Riz has
Dude,
got to read my email. Riz has got to do a Russian accent for at least a portion of Big C. Riz has got to say wildly inappropriate things. Not quite offensive, but fucking weird.
Butt pee.
Riz,
There we go.
this is a big job, my friend. If you fuck it up, you know what's going to happen.
Oh no.
Rectal bleeding. Don't eat the Vaseline!
Whoa!
Fuck.
I can't tell if he said don't need the Vaseline or don't need the Vaseline.
I think Lunchbox is drunk at 2 o'clock in the
It might
afternoon.
be.
Yeah.
So
Chris, you have big shoes to fill. You
Wait,
have
wait,
big,
I don't know.
shoes to fill.
I don't know
have
about the
his-
rest, but again, the Google translation is amazing because it starts with alone Lou, both bat, 2 T's. It's not hello in pig, and you can imagine where it goes from there.
I have his email up.
You have his email up.
should I read his email?
Riz has been.
No,
tasked with
fuck
it.
that. I'm reading
Oh
his
wait,
email.
no.
No.
Good
no.
evening to my fellow
Oh
Mayhem,
no! Wait, race him to it! Race him to it, Riz!
Mayhem Americans. I apologize for my unavoidable absence.
Race him to it!
But there was a brief but intense squid attack on the Sophie
Have a good
Maslow
night, my-
Memorial,
have a good
Three
show, my
Rivers
little beast.
Memorial Underground Underwater Lair. 3 more
I
men
know
were
that.
The
killed,
worst idea ever.
including
Yeah,
Signor Galileo Galilei, my mole Stromener, and Mr. McHenry Tunnels Up, my mole butler, or mole maid for the insensitive. Go ahead.
That's all I wanted to do.
Wanted to read that part.
Yeah.
Either way, it's a hell of a mess, and now I have to clean up myself. And then there's the mole feast where we devour the recently departed in celebration, and also in attempt to gain their powers. Better night vision and +1 to digging. Here I come. That being said, I would like to present a series of both thought-provoking and amusing questions to get my cohorts' gums a-flapping. Ready?
Okay.
Too fucking bad. Here we go. 1. What portion of the fan base does the Brock Lesnar Triple H business appeal to?
People that watched him in MMA. Anybody else?
People that give a shit about Triple H.
7-year-olds.
Bobby?
Current
Oh, Bobby. Bobby? He's back.
Bobby.
My computer was trying to do too much at once.
Apparently.
Gave up.
Bobby, what do you think about this?
What are we talking about?
Okay, next question.
Do you miss the cruiserweights?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes.
And second part, would there still be a place for them in today's WWE universe?
No.
No?
No.
I'll say I don't because
I think so.
the weight limits in wrestling, I think, and especially in WWE, are so different than they used to be. Now that you don't really need cruiserweights.
No, you know what? They do need cruiserweights to be Mark Henry's bitch.
Oh,
That's true.
Okay. What about you, Bobby?
I think I would welcome back cruiserweights.
Yeah.
You got a lot of the younger talented guys coming up that need their own division. I'd say like Evan Bourne, who hasn't come back yet. Sin Cara. Give him a title and let him run with it.
No, I disagree. Because that's just another title for WWE to ignore. Like
It
it's
really.
That's true.
You could do this in the Intercontinental or the U.S. title scene.
right.
Right.
Unfortunately, with the way the WWE has transcended recently, there's absolutely no reason to bring back the cruiserweights.
Yeah.
And this is coming from someone who
Bring back
loved.
the European title.
This is from someone who loved the cruiserweights.
Oh yeah, the cruiserweights are great.
Yeah.
But I mean, no, it wouldn't fit.
Number 3.
They would just job to Ryback or Mark Henry
Pretty
or
much.
Big Show.
Yeah, that's what I just said. But number 3.
Hey, shut your fucking mouth.
Number 3.
Whoa.
Was that 2 questions?
Whoa.
Yes. Do I care? No. Is this also more important than number 2? Also, yes.
That's not what it
I
says.
care.
It says, is this also more than 2?
Oh, whatever. Shut up. Also, yes. Ugh, bored.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, no, and okay. 4. is Ryback going for the title today less infuriating than his last title hunt because he is more legit now, or is it because it's against John Cena and not CM Punk? LOL, Jorts.
It's not less infuriating, so the rest of the question is mute.
I think it's equal. I wasn't in the beginning of the Ryback, like his first title shot. There was still intrigue and there was still excitement. Not from everyone, but
I was gonna say false.
But it kind of got convoluted in the end. I think this is good. So, yeah.
No, this is not good.
Well, maybe we'll talk about it later.
Number 5.
Horrible.
Yeah, it's Chachi.
Hey, I didn't get the answer. I ain't mad at
Oh,
Ryback.
Bobby.
Yeah, Bobby.
Bobby ain't mad.
Bobby ain't mad at shit.
I'm back. I ain't mad at Ryback. Ryback's doing his thing.
All right.
Gotta feed the need. More.
Number 5. Are we entering an era where where there are fans, smarks, and a new category of wrestling hipsters?
Wrestling hipsters? What's this happening?
Wrestle fan.
It's
Wrestle fan.
to define it in a simple, easy to understand statement. It was, I liked him back when he did this.
Oh, man.
You know,
you have that with
like
everything.
WrestleFan.
Like all of us.
No.
No, wait. How many times you run into somebody, I watched wrestling when Stone Cold was big. Like,
Yeah.
I know.
That's it, right? Is that our hipster?
Yeah, that's
basically?
the hipsters.
All right. I think we've had that forever.
I know.
Yeah.
I think when you had the Attitude Era, be like, I liked when Hogan was big, and not knowing he's in WCW.
Yeah. I don't like the term hipster.
I liked it when we had grand movies like No Holds Barred and Ready to Rumble.
Yeah.
But
I think it sort of links more into like the whole smart thing, I guess.
What's happening, to answer Lynchbark's question, what's happening is we're no longer the target audience for WWE. So it seems like there's more smarks or hipsters, but in fact, they're just pointing their content at the younger fan base, which has been happening all along. It's just before we were in that younger fan base.
And they're losing the rest of the people, so they're like, I remember back when da-da-da.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who's to say, and maybe not the whole, wrestling's fake sort of stuff, but like, who's to say, an adult audience back then wasn't, that same way. Wrestling there was a brief period of time where it wasn't, but for most part it was garnering towards children.
Right.
Number 6.
We agree on something, WrestleFan.
Whoa.
Write it down.
Hey, let's not get ahead of ourselves here.
Oh, wait. Number 6. So we can move on and I can throw up. How are you today? No, really. I want to know. I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking, Lunchbox.
I'm okay.
How are you doing today?
Chachi?
I'm doing well.
WrestleFan?
I was
Nobody
feeling good until I
cares.
saw the tweet from about Chachi coming back. And then I was like, oh, my vacation's gone.
Bobby?
I'm sad. The Penn's lost.
Oh.
And angry.
That's why it's
And
a
I'm by
7.
myself in his hangout.
That's why it's a 7-game series.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, everybody cheer up. We're
Thanks,
talking about
Chachi.
wrestling
Cheer
here.
me
Have a
I'm
good
back in the
show, my
show.
little beef
I'm
cutlets.
back in the show!
Oh, beef cutlet.
Oh.
Wow.
I'm not a beef cutler. I'm a chicken tender. Or something. I don't know.
All right, and with that, we go to what we got next.
I think.
Do you want to do PPC or we do have a short one from AJ?
We do have a short one from AJ. I'll get this one. Dolph Ziggler is a G.I. Joe action figure. He's plastic on top, plastic on the bottom, and a rubber band in the middle. Also, after the ladder shot from Swagger, Dolph doesn't know math anymore. Bo F. Diggity. The F is for fucking hell that looked like it hurt. I asked him, he said this in the hangout last night. I'm like, can you please call or email us that? Because I just want it to be said on the show. And yes, he's the G.I. Joe. So thank you for that, AJ. Riz, do you want to do your duty right now?
I have been practicing.
You've been practicing?
I've been practicing my Russian accent. and I think I got it to a T.
At least you get to read an email in English.
Tell me if I'm doing it right here.
No.
No, not at all.
Hey. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, hey.
Oh, God damn you!
It's me. It's the fan of the year at Big PPC. That's a portion of the thing.
There you go.
Busy.
Wow, that's like
New job.
I don't even know what that is.
Field trips with son. Raw pay-per-view. PPV. TNA. Odds tag team pay-per-view thing. And PWG pay-per-view to catch up on. And Raw. It's all good in my hood, yo. Question this week. If you could bring back any manager to put with a current star, who would it be? Bobby Heenan with Damian Sandow and Cody Rhodes. Rodis.
Rawheads.
Rodis. I think that means Rhodes. Till next time. Till next week. Take care, Mayhem crew. It's me. It's It's at Big PPC. Great job per usual, you fucks. Lol. Just kidding.
Okay,
And from my
couple points.
Is he kidding that we did a great job? Or
Yeah, couple points. First of all, Riz, that was a disgrace. I'm sorry.
It's better than your freaking
Yes.
Mexican.
That's
Second
debatable.
of all, and more importantly, Big PPC's a dad?
Yeah.
I think that was the big reveal on this
Yes,
one.
little people.
There's little
It's
people.
little PPC.
Oh my god. That traumatized me so much.
Little
That
PPC.
sounded sad.
Wow.
But yeah, my Russian is better than your Spanish.
Your Russian was English, but like
Oh, no.
slowly like whispered.
Yeah, it was kind of slow. What was with
Slightly tweaked.
what was with that speed going on there?
It was my Russian.
It was
Let's talk with that, please.
so your Russian is anybody on a vacation?
Yes.
It's
Matt Mike in the chat
anything
says-
Hey,
but
wait.
Russian.
I did say Big PPC in Russian. So there.
Mad Mike says
I
my
did say
asshole.
sent from my iPhone.
And you did say crew.
I did say
You
clue.
did say crew.
So my butthole was
You
safe.
didn't say
Thank
something from your iPhone.
Well, LB will be the judge from that. Somebody saying in the chat room.
Oh, I said Mad Mike says my asshole has a better Russian accent.
Oh,
Well, you're not on the show, are you? It's my time. My
Whoa.
time is now.
Whoa.
Question!
Oh.
Apple door.
So I'd like Kevin Sullivan to manage Ryback.
Oh my god.
I would like Slick to manage Mark Henry.
Oh,
Wow.
Mr. Fuji, Lord Tensai.
Ooh. I would like Slick to manage the Tons of Funk.
You just want
I was gonna
Slick.
say that would make more sense.
I want
You-
Slick just to be back in general.
I want
Slick to manage
Caitlyn.
Antonio Cesaro.
I want
I want Kimchi to manage Fandango.
I was gonna say I want Sensational Sherry to manage Fandango.
Ooh, that'd be good.
Eh.
Oh, that'd be cool, yeah. Or Miss Elizabeth. Well, Miss Elizabeth. Oh,
Well, they're both dead.
Yeah, they're both dead.
that's great.
Well, yeah, this isn't a fantasy
Yeah,
world,
yeah, they're both
okay?
dead. Yeah, that's true.
Well, he's like, Bobby Heenan isn't exactly a managing position.
No,
I think we're talking in their primes. So,
That's
okay. I thought we
I
had.
want Todd Pettengill to manage Michael Cole.
I don't know about that one.
I'm sorry.
All right, and that is the fan mail. So let's go check out what's going on with the RWA DVD, and we'll be right back with our interview from up north.
When I was a little kid, it was a little bit. Yeah, I stay up late, you know, but just a little bit. In my curfew, deemed by the street light.
Hey guys, we're back. Sorgatron here with our interview for this week. Another great guy that we ran into at WrestleCon, like the string of them we've had the weeks before. This is a really cool one. We were there promoting the Montreal Theory, and you that's a lot of what us wrestling fans, especially here in the States, kind of think about when it comes to Canada and wrestling, Heart Foundation, everything like that. But we got a guy here that's going to tell us, has the definitive look at what's going on in the Montreal specifically scene in pro wrestling. We got Bertrand Ebert with Mad Dogs, Midgets, and Screwjobs. You had me at the title, sir.
Well, I have to give credit to the editor. They came up with that title, and it's a catchy one, and it covers everything, Mad Dog Vachon is probably the biggest name that everybody known and heard about that came from the Montreal territory. Mm-hmm. The midget wrestling started in Montreal, and obviously, for modern fans, the Montreal Screwjobs is probably the biggest thing associated with Montreal. So I think it covered anything that needed to be covered in the title, and I think people will be pleasantly surprised with all the tidbits and informations and surprises in that book about anybody that came through here or actually learned here. Like, people don't know sometimes that Ronnie Garvin is a guy from Montreal. Mm-hmm. And Pat Patterson is also a guy from Montreal. And those guys, at first look, they don't look like they're French Canadian, like Rick Martel or the Rougeau brothers, who had a character that came from Montreal. But a lot of guys came here at some point, and we had very strong promotions in the 70s in particular and the 80s. And a lot of guys came in to learn, or it was one of their first big territory, or it was their last, we have a lot of people in that book.
It sounds like an area that definitely has a lot of story that has not gotten out there a lot. Maybe it was mentioned a little bit in a Heart Foundation document, but it does feel like if WWE doesn't do a documentary about a certain group or area or something like that, a lot of wrestling fans don't really know about it.
Yes, exactly. And Montreal, even at the height of its popularity, there was always the problem that most of anything that came out of it on television or in the newspapers was in French. Mm-hmm. Which pretty much prevented most of everybody to fully understand what was going on. And some stuff just went by with years with the WWE taking over and rewriting history and stuff being forgotten along the way. Just the war between the All-Star Wrestling and Grand Prix Wrestling in Montreal, when it was the Vachon running one group and the Rougeau running the other groups. Mm-hmm. That was huge. At some point, the war was on television. It was at the arena battling with the Athletic Commission, because Montreal, for a long time, in the Montreal city itself, was under the direction and had to play with the Montreal Athletic Commission. Mm-hmm. And that created issues and stories that we discuss in there when the war went on. And, it has nothing to envy to the Monday Night War. It was the same thing. Guys were jumping left and right, getting better deals in the process. Fans were, very happy because they were getting twice as good wrestling. And for a few years there, it was very, very odd. And, as anything else, it fell down again, like most promotion when they get really hot, or like after the Monday Night War, for example. And then it went way back up again when they were able to get television again, and what people know today as international wrestling, which it didn't start as international wrestling, but it morphed into that name, and that's the name most well known, where a new generation of fans, me included, fell in love with the wrestling business, and we had a new hero at the time, which the Rick Martel, the new Rougeau brothers, which was Jacques Jr. and his brother Raymond, were a third generation wrestler at the time. And Dino Bravo, that nobody in the US can understand how big Dino Bravo was in Montreal before joining WWE back then. If you check Montreal listing and how many people drew gates in Montreal, Dino Bravo comes third.
Wow.
In Quebec-born wrestlers. There's only Yvon Robert and Johnny Rougeau who were bigger than him. In the 80s, at some point, when WWF was working with International Wrestling, which is another story in the book, is that WWF had to make a deal and run joint shows with International Wrestling to get a foot in the forum, which is unheard of in any other of the other territory where they invaded. They were discussing about doing a match with Dino Bravo and Hulk Hogan at the Olympic Stadium. And now we're talking about 1986, 1985. It would have been a huge gate in Montreal. But, we explained the story a little bit in the book. By the time everything was falling into place, McMahon didn't need International Wrestling anymore, and they were scared of how popular Dino Bravo was and how, Hulk Hogan might just be the heel in a confrontation like that at the Olympic Stadium. So they backed out of the deal and everything fell apart, and they were able to get the forum by themselves. And, that's why, actually, because Bravo was already working with WWF, but he left after that deal fell through before International Wrestling fell on downtime, and the only option left was to go back to WWF. And I think, you can even see that by the fact that they used him as a heel right away, and they turned him big against the Rougeau at the Forum. They didn't want to have the Montreal fans to compare Hulk Hogan and Dino Bravo at the time. So that's all in the book. And, and as far as Dino Bravo goes, even the whole story of his death and what happened up to this day, on that story, it's all in the book as well, which is stuff that, there was discussed a lot back in 1993 when he died, but it kind of fell on the side, and because, again, of the language barrier, a lot of stuff never came out exactly of what was going on, and we were able to interview people like Rick Martel and Gino Brito, and they were open enough to discuss a little bit of what they knew about the Dino situation and what led to his death. So we have a pretty complete story as far as Dino Bravo goes, and that will hopefully give people a better understanding of how big stars were in Montreal. Again, because of the language barrier, Montreal has always been a city where if you're the top and you're a guy, we are Quebecers, you're just like one step above the rest. Georges St-Pierre is the best example. Nobody could draw anything in Montreal as far as MMA goes before St-Pierre became that big of a star. It's a huge thing now, and a lot of people got turned into MMA because St-Pierre was so good and so dominant in his sport. And we've seen it before with Formula One racing here in Quebec twice, with Gilles Villeneuve first, and then his son later when he became world champion. That sport became really huge in Montreal. So when we had our home territory and our homegrown promotion, that one guy that was put on top and was the star, and the guy that was beating up all the foreign guys and the U.S. guy and whoever was coming in to beat him up, and they became really, really important. If we think back to Yvon Robert in the time of Eddie Quinn in the 50s and the 40s, he was the only comparison as far as how big Yvon Robert got in Montreal. You have to compare him to El Santo or Ricky Dozan in Japan. He was a cultural phenomenon, and he became a symbol for French people, French Canadians, when that's what they would call at the time, you could make it. And he was best friend with Maurice Rocket Richard, who was the only sports figure in Montreal that was bigger than Yvon Robert at the time. So that kind of gives you a perspective. I don't know about how much you know about hockey, but Maurice Richard, when he was suspended, there was a huge riot in Montreal about that. And to this day, Maurice Richard had probably one of the biggest funeral ever in the city, and it was he was a national hero. And Yvon Robert was just in that ballpark during those 10, 15 years when he was on top in Montreal. So that's how big wrestling was in Montreal at some point.
Yeah, it's just, and I'm seeing from your site, it lists Montreal as one of the bigger cities like Chicago, New York, Tokyo, and again, definitely something that's been cut off from us again, the language barrier and everything.
Oh, yeah.
So explain to us like what was the title's namesake. I know Mad Dog Vachon was a name that I would hear, with Luna coming through, or maybe some of the older matches around like WWF or whatever you might have been around in. What was the significance of Mad Dog Vachon?
Mad Dog Vachon was, there's a picture in the book where when he was a young guy and he looked like a movie star.
Mm-hmm.
But that didn't work out. That because there was already Yvon Robert, and there was no, like any wrestling promotion, there's no room on the top to have 5 guys. So there's like one guy, then there's a second guy, and that's about it.
Mm-hmm.
So he moved like a lot of the other guys. He moved out of the Montreal territory and went on to tour the world. And then he ended up getting that break where he did that thing in Portland and became Mad Dog Vachon. And even there, he wasn't even billed as being from Montreal most of the time. But, he became huge with the AWA and, was big with almost every territory. And in Montreal, he started, when he came back in the 70s and started Grand Prix Wrestling with his brother, the Butcher Vachon, they became really huge. And by the end of his career, Maurice Vachon was easily the most recognizable wrestler in Montreal. He was doing a kid TV show. He was the pirate, Mad Dog. He was doing commercials of any sort. Beer was one of the most famous ones. And he was also doing food critics segment on one of the talk show. He was doing the going home show from the helicopter, telling people what the traffic was. He was everywhere. That's the difference. The big difference in Montreal is you have all that French media. You guys have ESPN, but we have RDS, and we now even have a second sports station now that's less than a year old, and they cover hockey, obviously, but they cover all types of sports or sporting events. And they give those guys back then and even today a lot of coverage that you wouldn't get if you were getting a book out in Toronto, mm-hmm. where the Canadian media is national most of the time. It's rarely local at the level that we have it here. Even at our book launch, we had both sports stations live during their news report at 5 o'clock with reports and doing interviews with all the legends at the book launch. So to this day, our media has always had a little something about those big guys that became big stars everywhere and came back and drew huge crowd at the Montreal Forum. And, our theory behind the book was always here locally that, if you were 35 and up, at some point, you either were a big fan yourself or you watched it with your grandmother or your father on Sunday morning. And, if you're 35 and up, everybody can get us a wrestling story of some sort with their family or watching it on Sunday morning of some sort, or getting to the Forum or the Paul Sauvé Center, or being there at the Parc Jarry for the big crowds of near 30,000 people that were there during the War of Grand Prix and All-Star. So that's all different. I think the territory it's all that media coverage in French that covers the whole province, and that always created big stars and huge memory. And we're always talking about WrestleMania moment. I think it's also wrestling moment. Those moments, if you're there and you're a fan, or you're there in the building, or you were there watching it on television, when there's one of those moments, it creates a memory, and those memories, always bring back all the time. I remember that, and I remember Mad Dog Vachon, I remember this guy, or I was there and it was blood. No, it was not real. There's always a discussion coming out of it. So even if you're not fan today, and there's a lot of, I think there's a lot more former fans today than there is actual wrestling fans of the product of today. So that was also our theory behind the book, is that it would appeal to former fans a lot, because that's, for the first time, it's the untold story, the behind the scenes story of all they've seen while they were fans. So.
Excellent. And it really seems that I know, like, a lot of the discussion is that, like, how Canada, it seems like wrestling has been more of a serious pastime for you guys. You know?
I think so. I think, it was treated more seriously by the media, even the English media, up to this day, as an entertainment phenomenon and as a serious business that actually draw a lot of people and has a lot of interest for a lot of fans, and it created that in all the different era as well. From the Killer Kowalski ear incident, where the media in Montreal kind of played along with the story of it not being an accident, and creating by the same token the Killer Kowalski legend. Even if the ripping of the hair of Yukon Eric was a total accident. And, it went against every kayfabe rules to send Kowalski to the hospital to shake hands with Yukon Eric and say, I'm sorry. But by some sort of, I don't know, maybe it was fixed. But, all the journalists were there as well. And the whole story about him being laughing about Yukon Eric and stuff like that. And it just created that character, Killer Kowalski, that to this day is known worldwide, you know. So that's all the type of different stories that are in the book that are sometimes, forgotten or not as well known by newer fans, or, we even, and for people who didn't believe about the ear story of Yukon Eric in Montreal, we actually have a picture of Sammy Mack in the book, the referee of that match, and he has the ear of Yukon Eric in his hand. So that's how much research we put into the book as well, is, okay, well, we have all those stories and we did all those interviews with everybody that's still alive, and that was very helpful with our research. But we went on and searched the archive and find magazines and newspapers to find, and different pictures to go with the book as well. And we were very lucky because we interviewed close to 100 different pro wrestlers from different era about their career and the Montreal territory, and they all agreed to share their personal photography collection with us. So in the book, there's a lot of pictures that comes from our personal collection, as we acquired quite a few pictures along the way, but also there's the collection of Raymond Rougeau, Rick Martel, Paul Leduc, who was the brother of Joe Leduc, Gino Brito. So there's a lot of pictures in the book that were never seen before, basically, because they all came from their own personal collection.
I have a quick question. You mentioned sort of about, like, the fact that, there's that nostalgia that comes with, following all that stuff, and, there's fans that, hold those memories very closely. And, with WWE, do you think they have, do you think they should, or do you think they have tried to sort of capitalize on that in a way? And maybe, I don't know what they're doing, I guess, with their international markets, but do you think there's they should be capitalizing on that, sort of memories that those people have?
Yeah, well, I think obviously in Montreal, for example, if we take WWE, there hasn't been French wrestling from WWE in Montreal on television in almost 13 years now.
Oh, wow. Like, they don't even translate the
WWE in Montreal, you watch it on the score like every other Canadian.
Oh,
so
wow.
French show. Right there, I think you're missing the target, because we've lived it trying to sell the book to a French editor. A lot of people think that it doesn't exist anymore, that it just doesn't there anymore because it's not on television in French. So you have to tell them, well, if you get the Score channel on your cable, you'll be able to see it. You have to explain that to them, because it's been so long that people think it's something back from the 90s and 80s, but that it's gone now. I think that's something that WWE forgets, and I know they do it in France. We were traveling with the one of the announcer from France who does. I thought that was funny, because he does TNA in French for France, and he does WWE Experience and WWE Vintage as well for different TV stations. He's the same guy. which I think is quite funny that you can do both. But that's the beauty of international, where you don't have that many guys who can do the job. But here in Montreal, after they let go Ray Rougeau, then they never bothered to create a broadcast team that would do a French version for Quebec, because obviously a French version from France, the French is so different, and the expressions and the reference are so different that it would not work. It would be considered funny, maybe, but it wouldn't work as far as selling tickets for wrestling. And I frankly I don't know why it's not doable. And I think we just became too small of a market for them to bother. You know, with the Score Channel, they still draw between 8 to 10,000 when we're in a good mood at the Bell Center. So, you know, I guess, you know, it's not a big, but obviously I think they should have a French version from Quebec for Quebecers. I think it'd be good. At least here locally, our local groups would probably benefit from it. But, you know, the fact that they don't own those tape libraries from Grand Prix or from international wrestling and all that doesn't makes it very interesting for them to try to market that territory or anything, because they don't have anything. Any footage that exists from Grand Prix or from international wrestling is stuff that fans have been trading around for years, from VHS tape transfer now to DVD. And we made some research on this with both companies going bankrupt. The bankruptcy companies have destroyed all the master tapes.
Oh, jeez.
So there's nothing left
Wow.
to save that WWE would. You know, but back in the 70s or back in 87, nobody knew those tapes would have any value.
Yeah.
And, you know, especially somebody that was not in the wrestling business, that was just handling the bankruptcy. So at some point, they keep it for a few years, and after that, it gets destroyed. So whatever's out there is whatever's out there. So that's why to sell with the book now, starting at WrestleCon, we came up with a compilation of 4 hours of the best that we have found over the past, my past close to 30 years as a fan, to try to do a best of 4-hour DVD that's we have available with us when we do a convention like WrestleCon, and we'll be doing the Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame in Amsterdam and Jonestown in May, and others after that. And we'll have the DVD with us, and people can even get it on the web if they look strong enough. iSpots has it, and Era Video has it. So it's kind of a good companion for the book, because everybody that's been discussing the book that might not have a picture or might not have much detail sometimes, we try to put, you know, a picture or a match of everybody, and we have like Andre the Giant, we're working with Mad Dog Vachon in there, and we have Carpentier, Edouard Carpentier, which is another guy that a lot of people don't know enough about. And we have some of the best stuff from international wrestling that we could find, like the Rougeau brothers against the Garvin brothers feud that's being discussed in the book, for example. That's why I think it's a good companion, because, you know, every match that's available of that feud is in the DVD. So it gives people a perspective as well to be able to read the book and be able to see some footage from back then. I think it's interesting. But yeah, I would love for WWE to give us just a little bit more and try to capitalize on it. But, you know, even the footage that exists, I don't think anyone can sell it to them, because as far as it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
It's copies of copies. And, you know, according to the bankruptcy company, you know, nobody owns anything anymore. So.
That's a shame. There needs, and I don't know if there are these out there, but there needs to be like a historical society that's collecting these things that WWE.
Yeah, well, that's one of the idea we had behind the book, is that, okay, well, those guys are not getting any younger. You know, we were able to interview Maurice Vachon, which today might not be possible 5 years later.
Yeah.
Because, you know, you've seen the WWE Hall of Fame induction. It's too bad, but people that get there up in age sometimes have not as good memory as they used to. And Gino Brito's not getting any younger, and along the way we were the last one to interview Edouard Carpentier before he died. So whatever Carpentier gave to us that's in the book about the NWA title change with Lutez, that never happened. that was the first time ever that Carpentier discussed that situation on open level, at least discussing it as, okay, well, I didn't know what was going on, but, being very open about the business. So I think it needed to be done, because in a few years from now, a lot of that stuff is going to be gone. And, we lost quite a few people who gave us interview along the way. The Luna Vachon, Oliver Humperdinck. We had access to Anne Schmidt's collection. Anne Schmidt died also a few months before we were able to go to print. And Carpentier. And in 5 years or 10 more years, a few other guys are going to be gone, and their story is going to be gone with them. So I think it needed to be put somewhere, and we're really, really proud and happy that, those stories and the adventures, that's what I like to call them, because, going from country to country, territory to territory, and creating yourself that huge of a career and drawing so many people everywhere, I think it needed to be saved for future generation to appreciate.
Certainly. One last one historical thing, and then we got a fun question to head out here with. I saw that the first ever midget match was actually up in Montreal.
Yeah, there was a fellow named Gerard Phillips who promoted shows, and he had the guy who was going to become one of the most well-known midget there that was training with the wrestlers, Sky Lolo. And from there, they had the first match ever at the... and from there, Gino Brito's father, Jack Britton, came up with the concept of having touring pairs of midgets. And they had like 4 midgets on the road with one driver, and they had at some point up to 16 different midgets on the road, going from territory to territory. And the most well-known being 2 Quebecers, which is Sky Lolo, like I said, and Little Beaver. So that, and up to this day, I think in Mexico, it's still a very big part of the wrestling calendar, midget wrestling. And even in WWE, they still have Hornswoggle. And I think, no matter what time in the future, especially if the company keeps that PG route, having a midget character is always going to be a big winner with kids. I know my kids love Hornswoggle, and I guess it was probably the same back in the days. The midgets were probably very popular with the family.
Yeah, and even to the point, I know here in the States we've actually had some reality programming with midget wrestling as well. So, I mean, yeah, it's still a big thing. People are really excited. We had it here in the Western Pennsylvania area with a big show that had Roddy Piper and stuff. But I think people still might have been more excited for the midget wrestling, So
yeah, it's people kind of like the concept of and it's funny. And back in the days, I saw Little Beaver live, and he was getting up in age in the 80s, but he was entertaining as hell. He was he had that routine where but you saw WrestleMania 3, probably most of us saw WrestleMania 3, that moccasin slap, that was part of the routine. Maybe you should have told King Kong Bundy before, so that Bundy wouldn't get too mad about it. But that was always part of the routine about making people laugh and going around and sneaking around and all that. So I guess that's timeless, in the 50s or 2013, and people still find it fun.
Certainly. Excellent. Well, real quick before we let you go, we got a big question. We asked this of everybody. We've even asked this of Armando Estrada. We've asked this of Johnny Gargano, all the guys out there. If you, sir, were a vegetable, what would you be?
A vegetable. Well, I would say celery. I love celery.
That is our first celery.
You are the first
I
celery.
think that's celery.
That's good. I like it.
Excellent. So the book is Mad Dogs, Midgets, and Screwjobs. It's on Amazon. They got a Kindle. They got a Kindle edition if you're into that.
And every good bookstores.
Every good bookstore. Exactly. Only the good ones carry it, right?
Yeah, only the good ones carry it, and if they don't, you can ask them, and they will order it, even if they're not carrying it. And it's going very good. We're really happy. We're thanking everybody. We're going to be doing all the major conventions for the rest of the year. Like I said, Amsterdam, Jonestown in May. In June, we're at the New England Hall of Fame. We're going to be in Iowa in July for the other Hall of Fame, the Dan Gable Museum Hall of Fame. In August, we're at the Mid-Atlantic Legend Reunion as well. And so we're thanking everybody that loved the book at WrestleCon. We were overwhelmed by all the good comments of people who wanted to buy the book or had read the book. And we thank them. We're on Facebook on Mad Dogs, Midgets, and Screwjob page if you want to keep up with us. And we thank everybody. We have to go into reprint. So that's good.
Excellent.
Keep on buying the book and giving us your comments. We're really, really glad and happy that everybody seems to be loving the book so much.
Well, I'll save your reprint. I think we got a Kindle version in my near future, so we'll be picking that up here. So go check that out. Thank you, our friend from Montreal. Go check out the book Mad Dogs, Midgets, and Screwjobs. And now let's head over to some independent wrestling of all over with the Wrestle Fan.
Thanks, Sorg, for that interview. And now it's time for This Week in Indie Wrestling. It's the Indie Minute. No applause. It's like usual.
Remember
okay.
when?
So this weekend, Sorgatron Media was part of a little something special for IWC Road to Super Indie.
Yes, it was.
Yes, how'd it go, Sorgatron?
Well, I think this kind of tells the story right here with the rope missing from the pre-intermission match. Listen. Here's the deal, pal. When you do an IWC show on Friday night, things go weird. Okay, from your announcer arriving right up to the wire, from matches being swapped because of somebody being late. I know it took one person 4 hours to get there from Cleveland.
No.
Because it was Penn's traffic.
Woo, go Pens!
On top of everything else. On top of it being Friday and everybody having to deal with their jobs.
Go Pens!
And then, good matches and everything. Crowd was a little interesting. Chachi, how was the crowd on your side?
Well, when I went out to take my post at ringside, I got heckled.
You got heckled
by the heel section.
Yes.
And then Gory spit on them, so they kind of shut up after that. So,
like legit spit on them.
Yeah, like not his red mist, but like legit hockaloogie on the guy's shoe.
Right. So, and then this happened. Like the top rope broke in the middle of the right before intermission. Mr. 450 and
Shane Strickland.
Yeah. Thank you. And they right at the beginning of the match. Pretty much right at the beginning of the match.
Yeah, one of them went to grab the ropes to stretch out, and it just snapped.
Yeah.
Wait, he just grabbed it to stretch?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, it to give a little background information, the way the ropes work is there's a clamp in the corner.
Yeah.
Right.
And that clamp has a hook on it, but in each side of the clamp is the steel cable.
Uh-huh.
So what happened was the one side was pretty much on the edge of coming out anyhow.
Oh, okay.
So he grabbed it, and that was the final straw, and it just came apart. Like, the rope didn't actually break, more as it did, the clamp came loose, and so there was nothing to hold the cable up.
Considering how these guys wrestle, it's probably a good thing that happened at the beginning of the match.
Yes, it is because with the stuff that they were doing, even with the rope not there, it is a damn good thing that the rope broke at the beginning of the match.
And they still did a really tremendous match between them. I mean, these two high flyers still doing some pretty cool stuff off the second rope because there was no top rope.
Because like Chuck said, they are complete professionals because it wasn't. I mean, they reacted to the rope not being there. To entertain the crowd, and then to hype the crowd up, they made a big deal about throwing the rope out of the ring.
Yes,
and continuing the match anyhow.
Yeah.
And there was even callbacks to it later in the match because Strickland is a tall guy.
Yeah.
So, like, him getting back into the ring.
He was doing the diesel over the second rope and everything. So
I
it was
mean,
pretty good.
him getting back into the ring over the second rope was
It was fun.
Entertaining. So.
Yeah, I mean, it was just a weird feel to everything overall, but it was interesting. And there's a callback to that because Chuck says if you go to the IWC International Wrestling Hotel Facebook group, there's a discussion about it. But Chuck said that about earlier in the week, and here's a picture of it that Zima Ion posted, IWC alumni, about how he was wrestling and the ring completely broke. And if you're on audio, he says in his quote. He says he means broke. The ropes were gone, a post was tipped over, the ring was lopsided, still went out there and gave the people their money's worth, though. And in that, and back to that, even though the ring wasn't that bad off in comparison, but thankfully a little longer intermission, they got right on, and trainees came out, took the rope back, they started working on it. And they swapped it to the bottom for the rest of the show, and moved the ropes around, and they got to complete the show, and it was still a really good show.
Well, I mean, it was just a matter of putting it back together.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
I mean, nothing actually broke.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Nice and Colin Delaney was a tremendous match.
let me just say that Nice versus a paper bag.
That's true.
Would be a tremendous match.
That's true, but Colin did his part.
Just like Tony Fish.
Mm-hmm.
Tony Fish could go
Bobby
out.
Fish.
Bobby Fish. Yeah, Bobby Fish could go out there with a broomstick and have the most entertaining match of the night.
The other weird thing that happened was there was a war, including friend of the show Aiden Vale, did a handicap match against the Logan Chulo lookalike Rex Lawless, and Rex knee gave out in the middle of the match.
Yeah, I heard about that.
So
he was pulling, and this is terrible. And I don't. We'll see how it works out. But they were hanging on the whole "he's a big guy" thing, and that's totally ruined.
Yeah, it was gonna be like a Ryback squash match in the long.
Yeah.
Which is kind of disconcerting to me because Aiden Vale was just in a world title match the last show, the very last show.
Yeah.
And now he's in a 2-guy job squad. So best of Rex Lawless. Hope he didn't get hurt too bad there. I didn't hear any prognosis on anything, but they were definitely back there bandaging it up, icing it up. The doc was right on top of things backstage.
Yeah, he wasn't
from what I could see in my
out
position.
of there.
No. So hopefully it's just a tweak and everything. But unfortunately, it happened right in the middle of the show and everything.
That's one with problems.
So no, it was a fun show, really good build. They announced, of course, Extreme Tiger.
Wait, hold on.
What?
Wrestle
Wait,
fan,
Put
away your credit card.
Do it in order.
Extreme Tiger.
Who's from AAA in Mexico. I hear really
Jimmy Rave of TNA Ring of Honor fame. And, of course, ACH. For Super Indie.
I can hear
so when you guys finally get to see him live, you can apologize to my boner.
First off,
First of all, I've seen him live. I've talked to him. He's a
Sorg's the
very
only
nice
one that's
person.
seen him live.
So I share your boner. Wait, I know.
Yep.
Wow.
And also,
share his
if
boner.
anybody wants to go with me to Ring of Honor this weekend, he's also wrestling what? Mike Elgin there?
He is wrestling Michael Elgin. I'm super jealous of you guys, because that means that match is not happening in San Antonio.
Don't worry, your boner will be seen from far.
All right.
And you know what? I don't take anything away from either of those three guys.
Yeah.
But they're not the reason I'm upset to be missing Super Indie.
No?
No.
Why are you missing? Why are you upset?
Because Super Indie is always a great show, regardless of the guest.
I'll get you the DVD.
You know I'm not going to watch it.
I know. Oh, no. You watched something this week that helped you.
Yeah, it was stuff that I shot.
Yeah.
I'm not going to watch stuff. I'm not going to watch other.
I ain't watching something that's not mine.
Other than that, Strickland, I believe, got in, as well as Gory. So
And they're also doing a
No,
double or second chance
Yeah.
match to fill another one of the
yes,
spots.
and of course Anthony Nese, by keeping his belt this weekend, is in the tournament as well. The site has not been updated, but if you go to iwcwrestling.com and click on Super Indie, there is a cool site they have up that is going to be filled in shortly with all the people going to be part of it, and give you a nice listing of all the past shows. And we're also rolling out with Sorgatron Media, the past Super Indies are all going to be available on digital download. You can now pick up Super Indie, I believe 3 and 10, I think I put up there, and I know 8 is going to be up shortly, as well as 2. So those will get up as soon as I can get them all converted for varying prices, a little cheaper since they're a little bit older shows. So you can go check out. I mean, this is stuff that has like CM Punk and Styles and Chris Hero and all kinds of good names are on these. Balls Mahoney is on one I was looking at, like Balls Mahoney versus New Jack. I'm like, what? That speaks up of Super Indie. They're not in the tournament or anything like that.
God.
But still, it kind of shows.
That's not the most.
I was going to say that means one of them has to advance.
Again, that's not the most awkward. That's not the most awkward pairing in IWC history.
Oh, what would that be?
You know exactly what that is, Sorg.
Oh yeah.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
Raven and Disco Inferno.
Raven versus Disco Inferno. I need to actually watch that match.
WCW 1998, bro.
IWC was better, probably.
IWC 2004, man.
I love the flock.
Probably not.
Anyways, go check out all that stuff, iwcwrestling.com. What else you got there, the Wrestle Fan?
Well, the last thing is something that sort of briefly touched on, and that is that Ring of Honor is in Pittsburgh this weekend.
Woo! Why you always talking about stuff in my area, man?
Yeah, because, they're coming to San Antonio in about a month, so...
Okay.
But yeah, Saturday, May 11th in Belle Vernon, PA. Should be a very awesome show. Hopefully a lot of the Pittsburgh crew will be there. The main event for the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championships, Red Dragon of Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly. They're defending their tag team titles against the Briscoe brothers, Mark Briscoe and the Ring of Honor World Champion Jay Briscoe. Also, as Sorg mentioned, Unbreakable Michael Elgin versus ACH, Jay Lethal versus Jimmy Jacobs, and there's tons of really great stuff. So if you want your tickets for that event, you can go to ROHWrestling.com. It's going to be at the Ross Draver Ice Gardens in Belle Vernon. Go check them out. Hopefully, I don't know if any of the crew is going to be there.
I will be there one way or another. I will be there, and the wife, I believe, had a good enough time, and she will return with me. So,
very cool.
That's on my calendar. It is happening. I might drag Chachi.
You should drag Chachi.
Chachi would have fun.
Probably not.
No. Okay.
Aww.
Can't somebody go with me to these shows? Is somebody in the area love wrestling enough to come with me to these shows? Seriously.
Talk to Sean and Munz.
Yeah, I'm going to. Actually, Munz is out, or Sean's out because he has like some important conference. I don't know, social media thing.
I don't even. Maybe important, but yeah, go to ROHWrestling.com and go get your tickets there. That, my friends,
is not the Indie Minute. Hey, real quick mention, just our friends of Vicious Outcast Wrestling having a show out in the Greensburg area, and Jeanette. Tomorrow night, just look up Vicious Outcast Wrestling on Facebook. So if you're out there, out east in the area, go consider that. It's weird. It's a Wednesday night show, so
if you're not doing anything,
no big names or anything coming to that. But they do have a show coming in July that they're going to have Devon, Robbie E, and Miss Tessmacher at, including a seminar with Devon. If you're a trained wrestler and want to check that out.
You're messing with the real dough now.
What?
You're looking.
They're also going to be at
That's D'Lo Brown.
That's D'Lo Brown.
I don't give a shit.
That's D'Lo.
Shit.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Miss Tessmacher and Robbie E are also Sorg.
Yes, that's right.
Miss Tessmacher and Robbie E are also going to be at Sci-Fi in the Valley on May 18th in Altoona, Pennsylvania, too.
Bobby, we're not. Are you paying for us to go? Wait, do we have a table?
I'm not paying for anything.
Do we have a table, Bobby?
No, they're sold out of tables. They're sold out of tables. There's only one fudge vendor.
No table.
This is true. I do follow
Show title.
Sci-Fi in the Valley, and there's
only one fudge vendor.
All right, guys. Oh my God. Let's go to break. We'll be back.
There's a tweet.
And let's check out the
There's
latest
tweet.
interview with one Paul London talking about the Montreal theory, and we'll be back with Remember When.
They have
Can
tuna
you
flavored
top that?
fudge. I didn't even
Tuna
know,
flavored fudge.
I didn't even know that Altoona was
I tried.
a big producer of tuna. I just thought it was part of the name.
Bobby, you can be on the show. I have rules for you.
oh.
You cannot use the soundboard in Google Hangout.
You have rules.
Oh.
Shit!
What the fuck?
I'm so
Wow.
sorry.
You
Wow,
have your own
you-
segment.
Start
Hey,
again.
remember when WrestleFan messed up his own segment?
Somebody.
We are here at WrestleCon, Secaucus, New Jersey. Joe Dabrowski for the Montreal Theory. Available now at MontrealTheory.com and on Facebook. The trailer is on YouTube now. And I am standing by with somebody whose mind is always moving at 1,000,000 miles a minute. Paul London, one of the most outspoken, unique individuals in all of planet Earth, not just professional wrestling. Very outside the box, as I mentioned earlier, and you don't even know what the box looks like. Are you okay?
Ho, ho, ho. The box looks like ho-ho-hos. Ho-hos. Ho-hos box. A box of ho-hos.
Those are out of business now.
Those are Twinkies. I'm
Yeah.
talking about hose. Hose.
I am not sure what we're talking about. I was selling Twinkies here yesterday, actually.
I don't know. Those must have been knockoffs.
Like the golden snack cakes.
I think those are best, actually. But back to Montreal.
We never started in Montreal yet.
Okay, well, they have snack cakes there.
They do. Now, is that just a conspiracy theory, or can you prove that?
I think I can prove it, but it looks like snack cock because it's Quoqueus, or it's spelled like French Canadian-ish. So it looks like coq monsieur, you know what I mean? Like that delicacy, except it's Twinkie crook. But it's cake, but it looks like cock. Twinkie crook.
Now, you have a lot of conspiracy theories. You and Brian Kendrick are very infamous for some of your unusual outlooks on life. What are some of your favorite conspiracy theories that you maybe believe in or enjoy discussing and debating?
I like the conspiracy theory that Paul from Wonder Years is Marilyn Manson. I like to think that that's true. The fact that Ronald McDonald and Bozo the Clown are actually related and Cookie was adopted, I think is another piece of, I don't know how you say it, just dramatic setting, you know, that people need to know about. I think Disney is evil.
Is it because they sneak in the sex references in their movies?
No, I think that's one of the reasons they're great. I think they're evil because they continue to churn the mindset of girl at the ball, getting married, white picket fence, all that bullshit. You know,
It's okay.
so much. I think young kids need to know the truth. You know, and the truth is, well, you know.
I have more doubts than ever. What about the Brian Kendrick theory that the sun is not hot? What do you say about that?
Sure. But what do we get moonburned then? Like, I mean, we must get burned. We get sunburned, right? It's a toss-up. I mean, I don't know. He's really into that stuff, and I would like to think that he knows what he's talking about. But I gotta disagree. You know what I mean? Until I get burned from the moon, then I'm gonna go with the sun still being hot. Until I'm rich and can get a portal ship to take me to the sun, kind of like in the core, except much better. And then I'll find out for real what's hot and what's not.
And you already have the spacesuit for it.
Oh yeah, I've even ripped the sleeves off
we
so I can go faster.
Intrepid traveler.
That's it.
Now, back to Montreal, now that we've gone full circle again. Montreal Theory, Survivor Series 1997, November 9th. Some people think it was a work. Brett may have been in on it. It may have been a little bit too perfect. Do you have any opinions on what may have happened and what may have surrounded those events?
I've heard both sides of it. I'd like to think that it's such a toss-up because knowing Vince McMahon, I know that he likes to have stuff shot on his face, from what I hear. You know what I mean? That's how a lot of guys attain superstardom. And if you think about it, Brett spits a huge loogie right at Vince's face at the end of that. You know what I mean? So that could obviously be a dead giveaway. You know what I mean? Because, like, why didn't he spit on his shoulder? Or why didn't he spit on his nipple? Or why didn't he spit on his belly button? Or even on his lower back, right? No, Vince got spit right on his face where he likes his facials. And so I think that there's a situation where you could obviously say, oh, this is a work. These guys are in cahoots. Brett knew to land it right on Vince's face, mostly in his mouth. And so you can look at it that way. I like to think that it's real, just because, Brett's a Canadian hero, and I just feel like the Canadian people were disrespected, by WWF, and I hope Vince really thinks about what he did that day, you know what I mean? I hope he's in a library somewhere that doesn't have books, and he's just looking at the empty shelves and wondering, how can I have done that to such a Canadian hero? You know what I mean? He would have never fucking done that to Corey Haim. You know what I mean? Or Michael J. Fox or any of these amazing Canadians.
So out of all the evidence that we cover on the DVD, from secret discussions and sources of the finish and Lawler's thoughts and the perfect plan and the film crew, your top two choices are the placement of the loogie and Corey Haim.
Yeah, the placement, not just of the loogie, but of the body liquid, the body fluid.
Which would be contained within the loogie substance itself. The loogie would be like the containment of the substance that went onto his facial region.
That's true. Well, a lot of people don't realize this, but Vince was actually a wrestler back in the day. You know what I mean? But he was under a hood. He was under a mask. The mask was actually made up of complete DNA, mixed DNA. It was insane. But he, I guess, he doesn't wrestle the mask anymore. He just would rather be bigger than his locker room. And but I definitely I think it was a work because other man's fluid on his face, proof number one, and the fact that he did not disrespect a true Canadian hero like Corey Haim. He disrespected a real Canadian hero like Bret Hart. You see the difference?
When I never get hired, can I blame you?
Sure. Use me as a reference.
Montreal Theory is available now at MontrealTheory.com. Check us out on Facebook. Check the trailer out on YouTube. Digital download, DVD, 2-disc set. He is Paul London. I am Joe Dombrowski. Hopefully I'll find Brian Kendrick somewhere here, and maybe he'll actually...
You know what else happened in Montreal?
What's that?
Metallica, Guns N' Roses, Faith No More. Huge riot. Do you remember that concert?
I don't think that's on the DVD.
It's not?
I don't think it is.
Should be. That's a real Montreal conspiracy.
I think we need a third disc.
Maybe. But yeah, I think Axl did some weird stuff because Mike Patton did some weird stuff to his mic stand, and Faith No More's opening because Faith No More's better than both Metallica and Guns N' Roses in my opinion. But hey, don't shoot me. But anyways, a riot broke out, and they didn't offer any refunds, and they canceled this. That sucks, I guess.
Why are you? That's the end of my question. Why are you?
Because I am.
And what is the Montreal Theory? Find out now at MontrealTheory.com.
Hey guys, we're back. Go check that out, Montreal Theory. That interesting look at it through the eyes and mind of Paul London. He gives great back rubs, I understand. So a little bit from WrestleCon there. So now is that time where we remember when.
My bad.
This week, surprise guys, because I didn't tell you in advance, got me thinking when talking about the Montreal area and everything and like those memories. What's your favorite memory that maybe isn't something that's WWE TNA, like maybe something from like a live event? Like an indie show, like so maybe a taping or something. But those like moments that are like is your big memory, but it's from something small. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Think about that, guys.
Okay, as long as I don't go first, because I gotta think. Oh my god.
So wait, so it's like a indie thing.
Yeah.
Or it can be something indie or major, but small and
Yeah. Like I would say, okay, for instance, something that's like not indie for me would be the time that we went to a house show up in Elmira, New York, and took Missy's grandmother 9 rows back, and she really wanted to go at Ric Flair. You know, and them, like, you know, being that close and them actually messing with the crowd and everything was really cool to me and kind of a big thing. But not something that's like on Raw or something like that. You know what I mean? It's not a big Hulk Hogan moment or anything like that. Or take it around. I remember the incredible ladder match, Super Hentai, and Troy Lords had. I think a few months after I started going to IWC. Probably one of the most brutal matches I've probably ever seen at that point. You know, one of those ladder matches that don't really have anything hanging there. You know,
Yeah, it's just use a ladder match.
like it's still like a really memorable match for me. And Riz, I think you were there at the time, right?
Oh, was I there for that one?
It was a November Pain.
No, I don't think I was there for that, but I do remember hearing about it, and that was kind of.
Or the time, because I discovered this part again because I was going through the Super Indie stuff to post. But the time Jimmy DeMarco used wheels as a foreign object against Necro Butcher.
I do remember that.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember people yelling at me for handing a chair to, I think, to Necro Butcher. So.
Sorg, you turned heel that month.
Apparently, I turned heel,
and you never recovered from that.
Yeah. I don't even know why I wasn't working that night. Right, what about you, WrestleFan? You kind of have.
I actually have. I thought of one. It's actually there's actually two. Let's shut up. There's actually two, and it's from the same event. And it was from when we all went to my first ever and only Chikara show in Cleveland, Ohio, in June of 2010, I believe. There's a couple great. I mean, you know, Chikara is always awesome, and you know, being there for the first time was really, you know, special for me. But one of the big matches that was advertised on that card was Tim Donst taking on the indie wrestling return of Bryan Danielson, who had left WWE because of the whole him choking Justin Roberts thing and, you know, all that stuff. And that was huge because for me, I was like, I'm never going to get to see Bryan Danielson ever. You know, I live in Texas where, you know, there's some indie wrestling, but there's not a whole lot. And, you know, Bryan would probably never come down here. And he got signed with WWE. So I'm like, I'm never going to get to see him wrestle live. And I got to, like, by chance. And it was amazing. And we threw ties in the ring like they were streamers and sang the final countdown. And he had a phenomenal match with Tim Donst. And it was amazing. And I hold that memory sort of dearly. Also on that same show, I remember there was also a match, I think it was some sort of tag match, I can't remember exactly who else was in it, but one person that was in it was Frightmare. And he did a dive to the outside onto where our section was. Everyone had moved out of the way. But for the way he landed on his opponent, I had a can of, I think, like Coke or Pepsi or something, and him landing on it, like, crushed it, like, flat. Like dead flat, and it was amazing to me. I didn't even care. It was so awesome. Those are the ones I hold sort of dear.
Excellent.
Riz?
Me? Let's see. I forget which Super Indie it was, but this was, I think, one of the last ones I went to. Even though I'm probably going to be there for the 12th. But it was Super Indie 9, and it was dedicated to Larry Sweeney. And at the very end of the friend of the show, late friend of the show, Larry Sweeney. And at the very end of the show was probably one of the nicest things I've seen done. They did a tribute to Sweeney the entire show, and they ended it just with his sunglasses and was it his sunglasses or just a Super Indie title in the ring, and it just felt like something like what WrestleFan said. This was the last time or last time we're gonna see much about Larry Sweeney, even though he did go pass away a while ago. But this was one of those moments where everything just meshed together, and his passing was so touching and moving, and you can actually feel the energy in that room during that one moment at the end of the show when everybody was leaving and everybody just stopped and started just like going nuts over Larry Sweeney. And that moment will always be in my mind when I think of, indie wrestling, IWC, or wrestling in general. Just that camaraderie between fan and wrestler. And that's just what you get. And that's what I remember.
Awesome. Joshua, do you have one?
Probably at the Gathering.
Okay.
I don't even remember his name. The alpha male, big black.
Oh, Monty Brown.
Yeah. We would go to the ringside early because there was this one spot where you were perfect, like in the corner of the ring and the entrance ramp, and you were close enough that you didn't really have to talk very loud for the guys in the ring to hear you.
Mm-hmm. It is like in the middle of a field. It was elevated. It was an interesting setup.
And you could say literally whatever you wanted at a normal voice, and the wrestlers would be able to hear you. Mm-hmm. And so for the entire weekend, we just went back and forth with Money, and he completely played along the entire time. It was amazing. And
that's. And I think he says some wonderful things about your mother.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was pretty good. Oh, we kept calling him Booker T.
No, it was all Matt.
Oh, that's mean.
No, a lot of people were calling him Booker T all weekend too. So,
I miss you.
Nobody knew what TNA was then, So, but no, that was fun. I think it was one of the first times I saw him too. So yeah.
Well, it was shortly after that he showed up on TNA.
Yeah.
And then same thing with Kid Cash.
Yeah.
We saw him there, and then a few weeks later he showed up on TNA.
Yeah. So, but he's been around a bit. So
yeah.
But yeah. So thanks for that, guys. So let us know, what's your big moment. I know Alex Cars, he says being at PWG in December for Joey Ryan's last match there, and Willie Mack's tribute show in October for his late father Foots. The time Mad Mike says the time Owen Hart winked and smiled at me and my sister at the house show when he said when she said you stink, Owen. So that's awesome. That's awesome. So there you go. So let us know. Hit us on Twitter, on Facebook, Google, Good Times at WrestlingMayhemShow.com. Let us know. What was your... do you have kind of a small, big moment to share with us? And with that, let's go to Mad Mike's Minute of Mayhem.
Hey, Bob.
Greetings, Mayhemers. It's Mad Mike once again with your Minute of Mayhem. Okay, so TNA last week was a slightly, I guess, better show. It's kind of odd that they didn't have any drama between Hogan and Sting at all. They just came out like, I'm sorry, brother. I forgive you, brother. Showtime! That's basically it. Oh well. That could have been a nice little story, but whatever. AJ Styles is still very emo and very depressing, and I'm still convinced that D'Lo Brown probably could have beaten Kurt Angle if he had his chest protector, because as we all know, that chest protector it's illegal, but man, it's effective. As far as Raw last night, I'm actually really looking forward to Extreme Rules. The top 3 matches are really, really interesting. And WWE hasn't done that for me in a while. I guess I'm still coming off of a wrestling hangover from WrestleMania weekend. But, yeah, so the Raw 3 stars of the week, 3rd star goes to everyone involved in the World Heavyweight title match. Everyone. Zeb, Big E, Ricardo, AJ, and of course the three wrestlers, Swagger, Ziggler, and Del Rio. That match is going to be so much goddamn fun. It just seems like I can see everyone taking a ladder bump except for Zeb, obviously, but that match is just going to be so much damn fun to watch, and I can't wait for it. Second star goes to Paul Heyman, who helped fulfill a goal of mine that I was never able to accomplish when I worked at WWE. He gave me a tour of the corporate building. That was very nice of him. Triple H, you need desks that looks like they weren't purchased from IKEA. But I do like that Lesnar actually swung a sledgehammer the way you're supposed to sling one, though. And number one star, of course, goes to Damien Sandow. For someone who is given so little on the actual product, he makes it work. Although, this really isn't going to help people who think he's the new Lanny Poffo, because Lanny Poffo did rhymes and all sorts of things like that. But yeah, so that's it for the minute this week. Peace, bitches.
Okay.
All right, Mad Mike with his minute of mayhem, and I guess I do not like. Oh, it's you, Mad Mike. So I'll play this voicemail, and I think this is from the ongoing Russian controversy, from what I understand.
Hey guys, it's Mad Mike. Okay, so I heard Riz talking shit just now, so I decided to leave my laptop, go into abandoned conference room, and give him my Russian accent. Hey, Wrestling Mayhem Cool is Mad Mike, and fuck you, Riz.
Oh my god, it's Santa Claus.
Russia, Mad Mike, fuck you.
Santa!
Thanks for my iPhone. Peace, bitches.
There you go.
Guys,
Is it over?
Santa called
it
in.
was Santa.
Is it over?
So God, Santa can join us. So there you go, Riz. With that, we go to what's becoming a growing segment here. I'm getting tweets. Bobby's got something for us.
You're trying not
Unwashed
to say it 'cause-
Masses. What?
You're trying not to
okay,
say it 'cause
okay,
you know you
okay.
said it wrong.
All right. So
First, you forget about me in the last segment.
Oh, I'm
Remember
sorry.
when I didn't get mentioned at all.
I'm sorry.
Then you don't get my segment's name right.
I got a lot of things going
You know
on
what?
here, Bobby. I'm sorry. It's a big show.
Hey, Bobby.
You don't get fudge.
You don't get Wookiee cum fudge, Sorg. Anyways, Bobby.
I don't. There's Ewoks.
Whatever.
Yes.
I got an idea for comments from the unwashed masses. See, I said it right. So
Okay.
you have to listen to me. So, give me a dialect to tell. This is going to be fun.
Oh, good God.
Oh, why are we doing this?
What?
Go ahead.
Why are we doing this?
Shoot one out.
Some sort of
What?
dialect.
Any dialect.
Dialect?
Language.
It's a way
Southern.
someone talks.
Southern?
Southern.
Like from a country.
Like,
A different country.
From the deep south.
the deep south, Mexico.
Oh, God.
No.
All right, I'll read the first one.
No, I'm just gonna do it.
Oh, come on.
I'm just gonna do it.
Come
All right.
on.
It's time for comments from the unwashed masses.
Bobby just stomped on all your fun.
I don't want to offend anybody.
Do you listen to the
Okay,
show?
the first one.
What?
Paul Heyman, Hayman, reminds me of an evil garden gnome. Okay.
Nobody wants to hear my many dialects.
The next one. Everyone. WWE is slowly going back to the Violet Attitude Era. Violet.
The Violet?
I love when the Attitude Era was
I guess
purple.
it was purple back then. Yes. And this was in reference to Brock Lesnar destroying Triple H's fake office. if is your father's office, will you allow it? And then somebody underneath responds, dude, it ain't like they broke people. They can replace everything Brock broke easy. And that is the comments from the Unwashed Masses.
Oh,
Wait, we
my.
actually do have a tweet from the Unwashed Masses, which then which then goes from the ongoing, oh my God, why isn't everybody following Big E Langston? I need to get on the show thing. Let me find it here on a go on. I'm gonna find it.
All right. So with that, let's get in our round table here. So Raw, I think there's a lot of stuff we can talk about. First of all, I wanted to grow off of Mad Mike's World Championship 3-way ladder match. Holy shit. I liken this. Yes, it's going to be the best match. It almost should be the main event of the night, honestly. Although it's going to be curtain jerker match of the night. That's what's going to happen, right? I akin this to the one year they had the TLC 3-way match with the Dudleys, Hardys, and Edge and Christian, where they all had somebody else come out, Lita, Rhino, and Spike Dudley.
Yeah.
I see, like, that's what this match is going to be.
Everything about like this entire setup, I think, is amazing.
And I see Zeb Coulter taking a little bit too. He is a wrestler, guys. He's older, but I think he'll take a manageable deal off of this.
I found the tweet.
Okay, what is this tweet?
Speaking of Biggie Langston,
this was a tweet to Biggie Langston.
Okay.
And don't worry, I'm not using my tongue of awesome. I'm just speaking English.
What? Oh, your accent.
My accent.
Oh.
It is very thick, but I am not using one right now. I hate you because you beat yourself on the outside of the ring and not in the interior.
What?
For which Big E responded, "It's illegal in public, weirdo."
What?
And that, my friend, is why you should follow Big E Langston.
The more you know. All right, but anyways, that ladder match, the match we had last night, I think showed how insane it's going to be.
Dolph Ziggler is a goddamn god.
Like I said, a GI Joe, like AJ said earlier in the fan comments,
fucking amazing.
It's just that
ladder match is going to be awesome, and then it's going to divulge into awesome matches between Del Rio and Ziggler.
Yeah. Bobby?
He also said he could sell water. He could sell water to a whale.
Yes, he did.
So.
And it's not often. It's not often that the winner of a match is someone who isn't even in the match. Mm-hmm. And last night we saw that, and made me feel happy about Jack Swagger.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Exactly.
He swung the steel ladder, like it was a baseball bat.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Jack Swagger is one of the robots in
Robot Combat League.
No, Pacific Rim. That swings the battleship.
Oh yeah,
the baseball bat.
I still need to see that one.
That's Jack Swagger.
Jack Swagger.
It's not out yet.
No, I haven't seen the preview yet. I thought it'd be in front of Iron Man. Holy swerve, Iron Man, by the way.
Oh. Okay.
Anyways, spoilers. But no. Other than that, other than the other comment I have from last night is that was the worst fake office I've ever seen. Really, Triple H has an IKEA desk.
And a small office.
It doesn't even look like a good IKEA desk either.
No, it didn't. I mean, I just think
cardboard.
You get better hardware. I mean, I think
probably is.
I mean, it was like, here's a closet over here. Also, I don't think WWE headquarters is all that big.
Yeah.
In the long run, it's 4 floors, but I don't think it's very big. So
Also, that was really awesome that they were building to like this whole like, oh, Brock Lesnar invaded this place, this whole show, and destroyed it, and employees in WWE office are scared and they're
well, the best part
they're
was
intimidated, and then Triple H is just like, I don't give a shit.
And on Active, they had Matt Stryker saying, "We're getting reports." My producer hands him a piece of paper off camera. Quotes from employees. I've never seen anything like it. It was a weird vibe at the office. It was just like the way they built this thing was really weird.
And then Triple H was just like, "This ring is my office. I'm a badass."
Well, that's okay. That's the right response.
No, it
right?
wasn't. He completely no-sold the entire thing. He didn't give a fuck about the office. He didn't give a fuck about Brock Lesnar threatening his other employees. He just fucking no-sold it.
Have you seen his table?
I
don't think he cares.
Table-wise, okay, but like Brock Lesnar was like almost like getting into fights with other employees, and he didn't give a fuck.
Mm-hmm.
He was just like, whatever.
WrestleFan, that's because you give a fuck.
It's not the best.
They should want us to give a fuck.
You're talking about it.
That's true.
I know.
That's true.
I am
All right,
talking
let's
about
talk
it,
about the other problem. Let's talk about the Sheamus bully problem that WrestleFan
talk about
has
this problem.
continually had a problem with. You're right. He's a bully.
Fuck you, Sheamus. Fuck you.
But he's no different than Hulk Hogan back in the day.
Okay, yes, Hulk Hogan and Steve Austin did shit back in the day, but there's a difference between doing heel-ish stuff and being a sore fucking loser.
Nope, that's still Hulk Hogan.
That's still, yeah.
That was basically Hulk Hogan.
You know what Hulk Hogan did? He would go on and he would beat so-and-so in a match, and he would show that he was the better wrestler.
What did he do? Whoa. I take you back. I take you back, sir. Hold up. Royal Rumble, 1992. Mr. Hulk Hogan is in probably the Final Four and stuff. Gets eliminated legitimately by Sid Justice at the time. And goes nuts over it. To the point where he grabs Sid Justice by the arm and holds him and tries pulling him over the top and distracts him until somebody else eliminates him.
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
Okay, that's a sore loser right there.
Okay, I got another one for you.
But Sheamus has been such a frequent sore loser that it's getting fucking ridiculous. Okay? Mark Henry has beaten him up so many occasions. He was about to beat him in the tug of war, legitimately beat him in the tug of war, and Sheamus was like, fuck this. And then he beat him in the arm wrestling contest, and Sheamus was like, well, you didn't beat me with the other arm. What are you, a chicken? And then he just fucking punched him without even trying. Fuck you, Sheamus.
Haven't you seen... Okay, I want to take you back to a scenario, WrestleFan, and I hope you're not too young to know this one. All right, remember a certain hero of time and space of by the name of Marty McFly?
I thought you were going to say Max Moon.
Yeah. I know you were going to say Dr.
He
Who.
always got himself in scuffles and got himself in trouble every time somebody called him a chicken. So in this case, Sheamus is Biff Tannen, and Mark Henry is Marty McFly, Michael J. Fox.
That's fine. I'm perfectly fine with that, but I'm just saying I'm not cheering Sheamus. Just
Okay.
fuck him.
Then cheer for Mark Henry. Hey, everybody else is singing his theme song. Why not?
Did you see him walk out last night on Raw and look so sad because he kept getting fucking embarrassed by Sheamus?
I feel bad for him. Maybe it's a Sheamus' heel turn. Maybe it's like, okay, all the bullies are going to get the Sheamus t-shirts, and, I mean, what's the difference between this and Stone Cold stunning everybody? What's between this and Orton just RKOing everybody under the sun and not giving a crap?
Sorg, I want to hear WrestleFan's difference because I want to speak it here. Go ahead.
You can go.
No. Say the difference.
My point is that the difference is, there's a point where, there's a trading thing. 3 weeks in a row, Sheamus has tried to do this to Mark Henry, and he's, embarrassed him. There's provocation, but, there was no provocation for like 3 weeks.
Okay, my turn. All right.
Yeah,
all right. Not WrestleMania. King of the Ring, 1998. Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Steve Austin loses to Kane.
Okay.
The next night, there was a big ceremony for Kane. Am I correct?
Yeah.
And what happened? Who came out to the ring and attacked Kane? Stone Cold! And it was because he was a sore loser.
Okay,
The day after, One day.
One, I'm not saying it doesn't happen before. Two, from what I remember, that match was a first blood match, and Kane legitimately cheated to win that match. From what I remember, didn't the Undertaker have some play in there where he caused Steve Austin to bleed?
He's still.
From what I remember,
I just want to know if Mark Henry created rock and roll.
What?
Oh, Marty McFly.
If he's Marty McFly.
I got you, Bobby. I got you. But yeah, sore loser.
I'm sorry.
Sore loser faces have been in the business a long time.
Yeah, I'm not saying they haven't.
You're just mad because it's Sheamus going up again with one of your favorite wrestlers.
That's not true at all.
I think you're upset because it's another case of the ultra white guy getting over in the black man.
No. Why would I care about that?
Okay, then you don't care about these causes and these issues of
So what you're
society.
saying is you don't care about, what's going on. Because that's what I see.
Yeah, look at Randy Orton with the chili. Randy Orton with the chili.
What?
Remember he poured chili on Ricardo Rodriguez?
Oh.
That was a bully move.
It was.
When they were feuding with feuding with Alberto.
That was assault and maybe life threatening.
Yeah.
It was also misdirecting because Alberto Del Rio was doing all these shitty things and Ricardo was just taking the.
Remember when Stone Cold went out in a beer truck and sprayed everybody with beer?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, how about Kurt Angle driving a milk truck and shooting out milk at everybody?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're right. I never said it doesn't happen.
That was hilarious.
You know what?
It's a face doing heel stuff.
You know what? Bugs Bunny was kind of a dick.
Everybody is. Every cartoon.
He took a turn in Albuquerque.
Every character you looked up to was kind of a dick.
Yeah, that's fine. But what I'm saying is that fuck Sheamus. There we go. That's the point of it. Yeah, exactly. Because he's doing shitty things, and I'm seeing him do shitty things, so I'm going to boo him.
Would this even be an issue if he wasn't in the middle of a Be a Star commercial talking about how he's a fat kid and got?
That's the thing. They trolled us because they played the Be a Star commercial before the Sheamus.
No, they trolled WrestleFan. It sounds like
they troll. Okay, it's not just me that thinks this. Okay, there's plenty of people that agree. Let me guess. That Sheamus is a fucking piece of shit.
Okay. Morality plays in wrestling, ladies and gentlemen. That's the big issue of the day, apparently.
Wow.
With that,
and I did all that in my Swedish accent. Thank you very much.
All right, what do you guys think about? Finally, I can't believe it took them so long. They're finally capitalizing on this Dances with the Stars gimmick with Fandango and Chris Jericho. There'll be some media coverage.
Wrong show.
Maybe Jericho can trip Fandango and then he'll be a heel or something.
I forgot where I saw it from.
Or be a bully or something. And
yeah, Jericho's kind of a bully.
Well, no, I forgot where I saw it from, but someone's mentioned it's that dance thing that next week is gonna end with Jericho pantsing Fandango.
It's gonna end with Khali winning.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
And Riz, are you happy that we're getting a look into the life of a domesticated Great Khali?
Yes.
Excellent.
Fun fact: they said it on WWE. He once was a police officer in India, and also, I actually looked this up on Wikipedia. Because that's always true.
Mm-hmm.
While filming a movie, he did actually kill a man.
Shit.
I think Riz wants Khali to arrest him.
Wow. All right, guys, let's wrap it up.
Hey, guess what? Did that in my Punjab voice.
Guys, what'd you learn from wrestling this week? A wrestle fan.
I learned that Damian Sandow is the fucking greatest.
Oh man, how quick they put that together. So those that don't know, Sandow came out and gave his own version of Randy Orton's theme song.
The best part is that the lyrics are 100% true.
And then somebody actually went and before Raw was over, this is about halfway through Raw, mind you.
Yeah.
put it together
Yeah.
to music.
Keep in mind, Raw's 3 hours though.
Yeah, that's true, but it was like an hour and a half.
The beginning of Raw.
Let me recite this thing to you.
No.
I'll do it in my
No.
singing
No,
voice.
no. Go check it out. Go check. You can't. You can't. do
You're
it.
not the man of 1,004 dialects, sir.
That's right.
I am.
Bobby, F.J. Town, what you learned from wrestling this week?
I learned that Damien Sandow is a saint and should be worshipped. And I learned that Antonio Cesaro is the same and should be put on a pedestal.
I'm here.
Both are great men.
Hi, Chachi.
And Cesaro won.
Yes.
Yes,
he did.
Chachi, what did you learn?
Chachi, what'd you learn?
Actually, I learned that John Cena, the prototype, was in Ready to Rumble.
Yeah.
Yep.
Was
You didn't know that?
No, I was unaware of this fact.
He was part of the power plant back then, wasn't he?
I think so.
Yeah, so
We were watching it before the shows, and wife of the show, Missy, actually pointed it out. Sorg had left the room, and we were watching it still. And, well, to be fair, I was the one who put it on. But she was like, wait, who was that? And I went back to see, and yeah, sure enough.
Prototype.
Yeah.
There you go. Riz, Riz, did you learn something?
I did learn something.
Okay.
Sorg, I apologize to you. I did not know the awesomeness of WWE Active.
Yes.
Until I listened to one of the best moments in all of Raw last night. And what I learned is that the reason Mark Henry came out to their ring was to do Michael Cole.
What?
That was straight from the mouth of Michael Cole. And the best part about that whole thing that happened, when he said the part where he goes, Mark Henry wants to do me. The JBL in a second did the exact same thing, Sorg. He just looked at Michael Cole and went, "What did you just say?" And at the end of the active part of the show, JBL reiterates that maybe Mark Henry will do him.
Heidenreich, am I right, guys?
Wow.
I wasn't like, you saw me. Whoever was in the hangout with me, Sorg, Bobby, WrestleFan. At that moment, I lost it. Am I correct?
Mm-hmm.
It was brilliant. It was brilliantly crappy, but it was brilliant. So that's what I learned. Michael Cole wants to be done by Mark Henry, or vice versa.
Mm-hmm. All right, and I learned that ropes are not necessary to have a good match. At least not all of them. So that's good to see. From the chat room, Alex Cars learned that El Gran Azul will have to start sending voicemails to show you how it's done. And I learned that neither Riz nor WrestleFan can do convincing accents, but that was one before the other. But Mad Mike learned that Wrestlers of the World is the greatest song about wrestling in the history of songs.
I haven't listened to that yet, but
I'll go check that out. So, thanks, guys. It's been the Wrestling Mayhem Show. Thanks. Go check out Mad Dogs, Midgets, and Screwjobs on Amazon and wherever finer books are sold. And
despite the title, it is actually safe for work.
Yes, exactly. Thanks for that. And WrestleFan, thanks for being here.
I'm gonna do a
okay.
Chachi, thanks for being here too.
Thank you for having me. I'm gonna do a search on porn sites to see if I can find a video that has that title.
You got good odds.
Bobby FJ Town on Twitter, at the E-Riz, at the WrestleFan, at Chachi Says, at Sorgatron is me. That was weird. Go to that WrestlingMayhemShow.com, iTunes,
Bobby,
Stitcher,
thanks for
Spreaker, Blip
being
TV,
here.
Roku, YouTube.
Hey, Riz.
Drop us a line
Thanks
at
for being you.
Yeah.
Good
Thank you,
times at
you know what?
WrestlingMayhemShow.com.
Thank
412-206-WMS0. The WMS
Thank
Gold
you.
on your iOS and Amazon
I'm giving you
app
an
stores.
ER right now.
Guys.
I missed you, WrestleFan. I missed you, WrestleFan.
Shut up, WrestleFan.
Thank you for being a
Let Sword finish the
He
show.
sword likes Golden Girls.
Wait, is the show over?
Everyone likes Golden Girls.
Mayhem out.
Fuck you! Mayhem out!
Just wait, just wait, just wait, just wait. Wait for the